revolutionary idea. Date with a purpose. What purpose? Getting married. Whoa, am I moving?
Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, so, before it actually tells us who this is, who here can tell me who is on screen right now? It is Roaming Millennial. This is Lauren Chen, who I have recently done a video on when they were nagging on a group of polyamorous people, of which I am one, so I have some issues there. So, let's listen to Lauren and see what they have to say about dating. Or what they think the purpose of dating is.
Too fast for you, making you uncomfortable. Dating, you say, is just, well, dating. You know, hookups, casual flings, having fun.
So, raise your hand in the chat, or give me an H in the chat if those are the things that you attribute primarily to dating. Or if there are, give me a G though, or rather, let's do this the other way around. Other way around. Give me a G if you think that those are the things that we think about when you think of dating. Give me an H if you think there's much more to dating than that. Like, because, according to Lauren, you think this. That's their words. So, H for dating encompasses more than these things. G for dating is casual flings and sex and having fun. And of course, the chat is very H. So, it seems like most people here do not agree with what Lauren thinks they think. And also, if you want that shirt, there is a merchandise. Like you can get merch. That's a thing you can do. So, let's see if they can substantiate this point.
Yeah? Who said so?
Nobody. As demonstrated very unscientifically by my chat. Nobody said that. Nobody did. I sincerely hope this is just the script they handed her, and it's not just Lauren being that stupid. But if it is Lauren being that stupid, it wouldn't really be terribly outside of what we've already seen from them. Let's be fair.
Don't get me wrong, I'm all for fun, but I'm interested in something deeper here, like happiness. I'm certainly not saying that—
Wait. You're interested in something deeper, like happiness. So, I have a question, Lauren. Very important question. As also for anybody in the chat. People in the chat, if you go and date, are you seeking happiness in some form or fashion? It's just any form or fashion, right? Give me an H if you're looking for happiness when you're dating, and give me a G if you're just not. Because, like, Lauren wants to paint this as if we don't actually look for stuff like this when we're dating. We're just looking for flings and shit. Right? That is many H's again. Not as many H's as before, though. I'm assuming then, because there's fewer H's here, are there some of you that just date so you can be miserable? Is that what happens? Like, you go on Tinder and you're just like, swipe left, that one looked okay. Swipe right. Okay, so I'm going to swipe right on this one because they look like they're going to make me fucking miserable. And a match. Like, oh my god. But it did look like at least we didn't get any G's there. Nobody here seems to date to be miserable. Although there is Licky Glock with the Q there for some reason.
that marriage should be the first topic of conversation, at least wait until the pizza is served. Just kidding. But I am saying that you need to ask yourself this question. Why do you want to go on a date with someone? Physical attraction? That's important. Common interest in something? Also important. But what else? Let's face it, most of the time we, and by we here I'm referring to women, have no idea. We have no plan. That's
Okay, so dating without a plan isn't the worst thing in the world, let's be fair. And there's a reason for that. Try to explain the issue that I have with what's being said here. When she's saying you need to have a plan when you're dating, right? And her issue is that most women don't know what they want. There's nothing wrong with not knowing what you want. Let's face it, if you're 18 years old and you're dating for the first time, you probably don't know who you want to spend the rest of your life with. This goes if you're male, female, or anything in between. It doesn't matter. You might not know. Not that early. You might not even know at 25 who or what kind of person you want to spend the rest of your life with. So dating shouldn't be just for the purposes of marriage, because you might find yourself in a situation where you marry someone really early, but then later in life realize that this isn't the person you actually wanted to spend the rest of your life with. There are several reasons this could happen. I mean, the most extreme reason is you find out you're with an abusive partner and they're not willing to change. They're not willing to go and try to get themselves fixed, or they can't even recognize that they're being abusive in the first place. Or they do recognize they're being abusive and they continue doing it. You might realize that you don't want to be with this person. But if you dated for the purpose of marriage and then had that happen really early because that's what you did, instead of dating to figure out what you wanted, who you were, as opposed to who you want to be with, now you've got yourself put in a situation, and let's assume that it's not that extreme situation, right? Let's assume that it's a situation where you decided you want to be with this person 3 years down the road, you realize that something's different, you two don't want to be together anymore, or you don't want to be with this person anymore because you've grown as an individual. This isn't the person you want to share your life with anymore. But because you dated with the intent not of self-discovery, not of figuring this out, but with the intent of marriage, you got married. Now you have to hurt someone who you probably still love, just not in the same way as they do to you. You now have to hurt this person deeply, and in some cases irrevocably, because you're a different person now. All because you dated with the intent of marriage. Not because you dated so that you could discover something about yourself through the reflection of others. At the end of the day, your priority is you. Your priority is not creating children. Your priority is not propagating your race. Your priority is not your significant other, whoever they may be in the future, and discovering that. Your priority is you. If you are dating to have fun, you can give yourself that self-discovery. But if you're dating with this purpose constantly, I'm not saying you can't, but if you do this constantly, especially when you are younger, you might find yourself in a really, really awkward and painful situation. So let's continue.
That's okay as far as it goes, but as far as it goes is not very far and frankly not very smart. But let's play out the scenario. We too often assume that relationships have levels of commitment, progressing, if they progress at all, like video games. A hookup is level 1, dating is level 2, level 3 living together, and then, after we've had those, maybe we're ready for marriage. But in fact, relationships usually don't progress that way.
So, okay. It's not that in fact, relationships don't usually progress that way. It's that, in fact, all relationships are different and unique. And you might find, like, let's say, for instance, right, let's give you a hypothetical situation here. You have a fling with someone, and you realize that you two are very sexually compatible. And then once you two realize you're sexually compatible, you start having more casual sex, which leads to hanging out more, and you realize you two actually also make pretty good friends. After some time, it comes, say, like Valentine's Day or something, and you realize, hey, not only... Let me change it from League of Legends to something else. Hold on. I messed that up. So, not only... Why is it... Just chatting. There we go. Boom. Problem solved. Problem solved. It's not League anymore. So, in this scenario, you went from casual sex because it felt good. You might have met up at like a swingers party or something. Who knows? To a friendship because you just happen to be in each other's proximity so often, to actually dating, and then to living with one another, and then to marriage, maybe, if that's your thing. Or, alternatively, you may be friends for years, and then start dating, and then start living together, and then start having sex, and then marriage, maybe. Or you could go in any number of ways. Who knows? The possibilities are literally limited by the amount of people on Earth, which means there's billions. So, what Lauren seems to be doing here is assuming what you think about relationships and painting what she thinks, or at least what Prager has scripted her to think, is the most common form of relationship. And because they're conservative, the most common form of relationship they are opposed to must be one that begins with sex of some kind. Will Tell says, you couldn't be saying that friend zoning isn't real. So here's the thing. Friend zoning is real, but not in the same way. Like, friend zoning is real, but it's not a negative. Because your ability to spend time with somebody, I had this happen in high school, actually. Your ability to spend time with somebody should not be predicated on whether or not you two can end up dating in the end. It should be predicated on whether or not you two enjoy spending time with one another. Because if you can't enjoy each other as individuals, you can't enjoy each other as a couple. So while friend zoning is in somebody just saying, yeah, you're my friend, and it's not past that, that act is real, but viewing it as a negative thing, as in, oh, I can't get in this person's pants because they've just labeled me as a friend, that is something that is an issue, personally. Like, that's my take on it, is that, yeah, somebody can put you in the friend zone, but a friend zone is not some box you have to try to break out of. It's just the fact that, hey, you have a person who you like, but they don't like you in the same way. Deal with it. Their feelings for you might change. Their feelings for you might not change. Yeah, and I agree with that as well. Jeeves says friendship isn't a punishment. You're right, it's not. Ostracization is a punishment. Friendship is not a punishment. So let's you know what? How about I give you an example of a lesson that I learned where this is concerned, where friend zoning is concerned. This is me in high school, right? Me and my ex had broken up, and I developed a crush on another person there. I don't want to say their name. But if by some random chance they're watching my channel, then they know who they are. But I doubt that. You know what? Yeah, no. We'll just call them L. Right. Not L as in from Death Note, but we'll just use L as a placeholder. So I developed a crush on L, and I did really stupid things. Stupid things like changing my seat, which I was only allowed to do once in the year, changing my seat to right next to them in my AOIT class. Which would have been really awkward considering the fact that, you know, I wanted to date them, And if they told me no, then I would be stuck next to somebody who rejected me for the rest of the year. Dumb shit. Dumb shit. So I sit next to this person, and we start talking. We start passing notes, and we develop a bit of a friendship. After about 2 or 3 weeks of them recommending anime to me and us talking about things we both enjoyed and getting each other's names on Instant Messenger, Yahoo at the time, because I'm old, I then asked them because they mentioned one of the things that they wanted to do, they never had a chance to do, was play pool. And I said, well, would you like me to take you out to play pool sometime? Which would have, of course, meant my mom taking us there because I didn't have transportation until I was an adult. But they had said sure, but that it strictly would not be a date. And then I asked, well, why not? And they said, well, I don't really have much interest in dating you. I just want to get to know you as a friend. And I didn't take that very well because I was a dumb kid. So they sent me a note. And this note, they basically didn't talk to me for the entire day, wrote a note, and gave it to me at the end of the class, which me, being the hopeless romantic moron that I am, thought, oh, this is going to be their note saying, yes, I will go out on a date with you. But no, actually what the note was saying that if you cannot be my friend first, then it is better that we both slip back into anonymity where we were previously. And that was like the slap in the face that went, oh, so I can either have a friend or not, but those are my only options here. And so we developed a friendship. Now, granted, because they never got a Facebook and Yahoo Messenger is long since defunct and gone, I've lost contact with them over the last several years, which sucks. But at the same time, I made a friend there where I otherwise wouldn't have, because I accepted that, yeah, no, being in the friend zone isn't the worst thing in the world. It means you have a friend. Having friends is a good fucking thing. Also, turns out that worked out better than the last guy who tried asking this person out. Because apparently asking this person out was I don't want to say it was a joke, but it was a thing that had been done to them as a cruel joke. And the last person who asked them out got yelled down very harshly. And that didn't happen to me, so that was good. That meant that I got a friend out of it. So, point is, yeah, friend zoning's a thing. It's not a bad thing. It means you have a fucking friend. Like, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with having a friend. So, that said, let's get back to Lauren Chen's video.
Hookups arise out of whim, impulse, or simple attraction. Dating is often based on compatibility or convenience, and sometimes on the hope that something serious might develop. Living together may be based on real love and a tryout for marriage, but it can also be based on less serious considerations like lack of other opportunities, desire for a roommate, or the inability to afford a single apartment. But
yeah? And do you know what that means? Let me lay it out for you, Lauren. The way to solve those as potential reasons why people would date and instead let them date for reasons that you would consider good, reasons that would coincide with your axioms, not axioms of poor people, would be to restructure our current economic system in such a way that people can afford fucking homes. That's how you handled that. I'm sorry, Lauren, that you accidentally constructed an argument against capitalism here. Isn't that weird how often this happens? Where it's like Lauren Chen, it's Prager U, it's freaking Computing Forever, where they state a problem in society, and then the problem ends up coming down to some form of materialism, not philosophical materialism, but psychological materialism. And then when you realize that materialism is drug on by marketing and cost and things that are inherent to late-stage capitalism, it's almost as if they recognize the problem. They just refuse to actually point out the source of the problem. Autobot Starscream says, is Lauren Chen a socialist now? A nationalist socialist? Oh. I wasn't going to say it. But somebody did. I see that. I see that now. Trickster says, so I can't have a female pay half my bills without a ring. Yeah, no, if you like it, you should have put a ring on it. Apparently. Hellish Hybrid says, you hear about Nick Fuentes getting yeeted off YouTube? Yes, I did. And I say what I did at the beginning of this stream. The correct response to a cancer is to cut it out.
But marriage is a different enterprise entirely. Those looking for a good marriage are looking for someone who wants to build a shared life. They're looking for someone who shares their values and beliefs, moral, political, and, where applicable, religious. They view each other not only as a partner, but as something even more profound, husband and wife.
So, I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. There's nothing more profound about husband and wife than partner. Because there are marriages that have started and have only been, like, there are marriages that started 3 months into a relationship and the marriage is a year old. And then I can point to, like, the relationship I have with Raz after 3.5 years and go, so is your relationship somehow more legitimate or different than the one I have with Raz? The honest answer to that is no. The only difference is a piece of paper and legal reciprocity should you break up.
The problem with so many dating relationships is that people enter them with completely different understandings of what the ideal outcome should be. He wants X and she wants Y, and it's easy to get distracted and fooled by superficial compatibility. They're thrilled they both like kombucha, kayaking, and karaoke on the weekends. That's all great, but when do you get down to the stuff that really matters over the long run?
So I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. Those little things can end up being the things that matter in the long run. Because while there are certain political things or religious things or like very large things that will matter later on in life, whether or not you can spend your base time with your partner, that is going to be very, very important down the road. Because at the end of the day, 20 years down the road, 30 years down the road, you might not be able to have sex anymore. You might not be able to go out and physically do stuff, but you two can enjoy kombucha together. Even though that drink tastes freaking horrible. Like, those little things are very, very important. To discount them as, well, those aren't the things that really matter. No, they matter a lot, actually. Those little things are the building blocks that you're going to use as a foundation. Like, for instance, me and Raz, we play League together. That is a pretty big segment of our lives. We are able to play League together and not hate each other at the end of the day. Sometimes. That little thing has literally been one of the things that's helped us stay stable.
Stuff like marriage, family, faith, and values. I say,
wait, hold on.
That's all great, but when do you get down to the stuff that really matters over the long run? Stuff like marriage, family, faith, and value.
So, hold on. Wait. Let's go through this list. Let's start with marriage. So, what matters in the long run for your marriage? Marriage. What? Okay, what matters in the long run for your marriage? Family. Well, you're married the person you're married with is your family as well. So, you've just said marriage twice, effectively. Faith. I don't think that matters much. If faith only matters insofar as as the ability of one of you to accept the other person. If you're not willing to accept the other person in your relationship, regardless of the differences they might have with you, then yeah, I could see faith as being a sticking point. Like if you're a Christian and you're dating an atheist and you have to convert them and you have to convert them and you have to convert them, then yeah, the faith is going to be kind of a crux that might destroy everything. Likewise, if you're an atheist and you're dating a Christian and you're trying to deconvert, get them to see that their God is illogical. Do it every single day. Eventually, that faith thing is going to be a crux that destroys everything as well. But the faith itself doesn't matter. It's how you're willing to navigate around it. And then values. What truly matters to you? Your values. So you've just said what truly matters to you again. You've just said what's truly important to you again by saying values. This is 3 of these are really awkward ways of engaging in a tautology, and one of these is arguable. I have some issues. I have some problems.
I say the sooner the better. If a relationship looks like it has a future, talk about it early on. And if it doesn't look like it has a future, what are you doing in it?
So, if your relationship doesn't look like it has a future, then you have to make a choice, obviously. If you decide that your relationship can't go anywhere because you two are very different people and you're not going to actually be able to move forward in your life with this person because reason X, Y, or Z, then yeah, I can at least agree with that. What are you doing if the relationship doesn't have a future? But if the relationship does have a future, talking about the future sometimes isn't the best tactic. Sometimes if the relationship has a future, living in the moment is the best tactic. Because when you're in the future, you're not going to be talking about the future anymore at that point. You're just going to be living in the moment. If you can get good at living in the moment, then you can manage, you can talk about plans, and you can do better. But just strictly saying, hey, no, you need to talk about this now, not necessarily always the case, and not necessarily always even a viable. Like, some of the reasons that Lauren brought up, like the financial stress or living together because you're burdened, you two might be working so much that you don't have time to do that. Again, the answer to that would be solving the problems of capitalism, but we don't talk about that.
I have no doubt the reason so many women get stuck in dead-end relationships is that it has become taboo, or to be precise, not politically correct, for a...
Okay, so it's gonna dial to PC culture now. It's become taboo. I mean, not politically correct. Let's see what's not politically correct. Let's find that out.
A woman to articulate what she really wants.
Yes, it is taboo for a woman to articulate what she really wants in a relationship, and you know why that is? It's because we've lived in a predominantly patriarchal society for a very long time, so a woman articulating exactly what she wants can be a bit of a problem. Again, the issue is not solved by conservatism, though. That's the problem. Conservatism is what birthed the problem. The solution to the problem is to deconstruct the social and economic system that we currently have, or reform the social and economic system we currently have, so that we create one where these things are not taboo. Like, I'm sorry, but there's some ways of dealing with this, but they're not Christian nationalism or conservatism, which are two of the values that Lauren Chen seems to uphold.
Which takes me back to marriage and why women crave it. Here are 3 reasons: protection, commitment, love.
So, if you're in a relationship with somebody for protection, that's not a good reason to be in a relationship. I'm sorry. Protection is something that you make a deal with the mafia for. That's you don't need that in a relationship. You should be able to protect yourself. Commitment, the marriage is the commitment, and love, the marriage I would hope contains the love there. Also, thank you very much, Aided Furball, for the 100 bits. Also, your artist should draw Neko Suris with L from Death Note. Oh my god. Protection. This woman wants marriage from the mafia. Protection is also a bad reason to own a dog. Yes, because having a family member around for protection is a bad idea. Protect yourself. You can do this. It's if it so happens that your partner protects you or that your dog protects you, cool, great. 10 out of 10. But if your primary reason for doing that is because they can protect you, that opens floodgates for other issues, like that partner could just as easily become the person that you need protection from, and that dog could just as easily become aggressive because you've raised them to be a protective guard dog instead of, a friend of the family.
Nothing wrong with wanting those things. It is something women have wanted and great societies have valued for thousands of years. It is something men still want too. Little wonder, study after study shows that those in good marriages are happier, healthier, even wealthier than those who are not.
Yes, almost as if having a partner around you, married or not, if you have a stable relationship, can lead to a better mental state. Like, I don't see how that's news to anybody. That's also not expressly about marriage. That's just about having a partner in a stable relationship.
Like anything you want, you have to work toward it. And anything that isn't moving you toward your goal is a waste of time. What's the difference between living with someone and marriage?
Wait, something that doesn't move you towards your goal is a waste? I disagree with that on a fundamental level. Because if the only thing you're doing at all times is trying to move towards your goal, you will burn yourself out. You need to do things that are there to simply rejuvenate you, things that are just there for fun. This isn't just a thing for marriage. This is with all things. If I spend every single moment of every day trying to make sure that I can make this channel the best channel it could be, I could potentially get this channel to be to 50, 100,000 subscribers, etc. if I put my nose to the grindstone correctly, but I would also burn myself out to the point where I hated every minute of what I did every day. And then what would I have? I would have a job that I hated because I did that. Because I didn't take time out and do something different. Wolven Nightmare says, hey, Suris, do you think Lauren Chen is in need of an introspective adjustment due to the heavily screwed views that are being regurgitated in the video? I do think an introspective adjustment could be helpful for Lauren. I think I don't want to psychoanalyze this person. But based on what I've seen from Lauren, it seems like most of what she does is spew out conservative talking points based on what her audience wants to hear. I don't know if that's true, but that seems to be the case. To me, at least.
It's the difference between referring to the man in your life as my boyfriend, significant other, or partner, and referring to him as my husband.
So you do realize that if you're dating somebody who is like an NB, they might not be super comfortable with the term husband or wife, and so just saying my partner might actually be better for them. I guess that's that level of nuance that Lauren doesn't think about. But this is also because people like Lauren view marriage as an axiom. This is something that is a part of the foundation of Western civilization to people like Lauren. So, of course, they're going to say that, oh, people think that marriage is like a video game where there's different levels of commitment, and that's not how it is. And then they make an argument for a hierarchy of levels of commitment anyway when they try to set up these separate or try to set it up so that these things are in separate categories. Jesus.
And him referring to you as my wife as compared with my girlfriend. Ask anyone who has taken the plunge and they'll tell you, living together and marriage have little in common. It's sort of like the difference between living in a country and being a citizen of that country. The latter, with its commitments, obligations, and expectations, means a lot more. To someone who tells you that a marriage...
So wait. So, because...
obligations and expectations...
So the difference between living with my partner and being married to my partner is that when I'm married to them, I have commitments, obligations, and expectations. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. I'm confused. Commitments, obligations, and expectations. Well, commitments, I'm committed to the 3 people that I'm dating. I don't plan on leaving any of them. Obligations, I have obligations to take care of them. If one of them sends me a message saying, hey, can I get a drink? I can't stand up right now. My knees hurt. Or, hey, can you make me a grilled cheese real quick? I'm really depressed right now, and I think that something like that could really help. I have an obligation to take care of my partner. And it's also an expectation. Like, I'm expected to understand that obligation's there. Now, whether I've been the best person at this in the past is up for debate, but it still means that these things are there. The commitment's still there, the obligation's still there, the expectation's still there. To argue that the difference between a marriage and a partnership is that these things aren't there in one and they are present in another is really weird. Also, when you put these things in separate categories, you create a weird paradigm where you get to justify certain things. Like, hey, this is not a thing that Lauren is doing here, but it's a thing that I've seen done by Christian fundamentalists before, and Casper pointed out in the Twitch chat, there are people who think that, for instance, marital rape does not exist. You can't rape somebody you're married to, but you can. Like, if the person you're married to says, no, I don't want to do a thing, and you force them to do the thing anyway, sexually, then yeah, no, that's still violating their consent.
Means a lot more. To someone who tells you that a marriage license is trivial, just a piece of paper, here's a good response. If it's just a piece of paper, why are you so reluctant to sign it?
Because that piece of paper has legal obligations. Like, you would be reluctant to sign any piece of paper that has legal obligations on it. The difference between a marriage and a partnership is that with a partnership, if we decide to go our separate ways, we can talk about what we want and don't want to split up, and we can be reasonable adults about it. Whereas if you're in a marriage, many times doing something like that requires you to get a lawyer involved. The idea that somebody can also, on top of that, there's other issues like alimony that can be forced to be paid out as well. So when you tie yourself up financially to a partner like this, and then you say that, oh, it's just a piece of paper, it is a piece of paper, but pieces of paper have legal value. The reason that somebody is sweating about that is not because it's not a piece of paper, it's something more. The reason people are sweating about that is because that piece of paper means that their partnership, that should be something that they are together, or their partner, that's somebody they are together with to make them happy, is now potentially a form of incredible stress. Also, Ulton Murtog. I believe that is how I pronounce that, but if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, please let me know. But you seem to be having some issues in chat. Would you like to talk about those issues you're having in chat? I mean, you're right here. You might as well, realistically. And you came into my chat. Oh, okay. So I'm going to go out on a limb based on that and assume that the problem is that you're a human piece of garbage and you have to pollute other places. Okay. I could be wrong. You could simply be trolling, and if that's the case, then I would just go ahead and say posed law is a thing. But let me know, because my assumption is the garbage pollutant theory. If you've got a different reason, then let me know. Obviously, you can explain that to me. Are they still here? No, they're still here in the chat. They're still there. Said, well, maybe. So the rule here with trolls is that you're allowed to troll, you're allowed to insult me, you're allowed to do whatever you want. But the rule is, and the rule always has been, you have to be original. You have to insult me in a way that at least can get a giggle out of me, because realistically, when you receive death threats via email and you get insulted in your comment section every day, you become numb to most of them. I want you to give me something that hurts. You need to tell me something that cuts me so deeply that I actually feel something, because I'm already dead inside, so you got your work cut out for you. So just let me know. I'm here. I can wait. G-Wing says, you look like the guy from every neckbeard story on Reddit. Yep, that's not original. Elton says, I apologize, sir. I love you. Okay. Whatever. I thought we were going to get some entertainment here. The real Locke, you're a second-rate duelist with a third-rate deck. Okay, Locke. You've done it. You've done it. You've given me the insult. You've given me the insult. Your father was a hamster. Your mother smelled of or your mother was a hamster. Your father smelled of elderberries. Either way. Let's see. We have from Angry Toilet 24 Real. Are you gay? No, and I've heard that one before. Do you live in your parents' basement? No, and I've heard that one before as well. Jesus crush. Like, if you guys are gonna do it, please at least put your backbones into it. That's all I ask. And the are you gay and do you live in your mom's basement and aha neckbeard and all that. It's boring. It's really boring. You can do so much better. I feel like the education system in the United States has actually failed when we can't come up with original insults. Nicotina, for the $2, Timo is best champion. All right. I wasn't aware that I was banning somebody today. Gabe Norman says, Gaytheism is for soytards and basement fedora tippers. Every single one of those I've heard 1,000,000 times. Jesus. Whether it's soy boy, you're a gaytheist, every single one of those I have had to deal with 1,000 times. Angry Toilet says, do you think No Bullshit is the worst YouTuber? I don't think he's the worst YouTuber, but I do think he's a shit one. Back to the video.
The answer, of course, is that no one believes that it's trivial. Everyone knows it's the most important decision you'll ever make, so treat it that way. Here's a good rule of thumb. Think about the kind of relationship you want as much as you think about the kind of career you want. I'm not anti-career, I'm just pro-relationship, specifically pro-marriage, because when you get it right, that's the best relationship there is.
Is Lauren Chen actually married? I'm actually curious. Is Lauren Chen married? Suris isn't pro-rights, he's just anti-Christian. We found the truth. Except I'm not anti-Christian either. She has a boyfriend. Okay. I don't know. It seems like she's... It seems like this weird thing happens where, like, a lot of the people who say that you have to have this traditional life end up not actually living that life the way that they argue. And then you get people like freaking Hunter Avalone who are living that life, and then you get the alt-right people who say that life's the ultimate one. constantly insulting them, and it's like, well, but they're doing exactly what you're saying. It's almost like you people are inconsistent. Suris, what do you identify as so as not to conflict with the genders of the rest of the polycule identify as? I'm male.
And it starts with the first date. I'm Lauren Chen, host of Pseudo Intellectual on Blaze TV for Prager University.
On Blaze TV for Prager University. Okay. Well, that hurt my brain a lot. Though it didn't hurt in the normal way where, like, I start having leakage. This was just painful because it's Lauren Chen.